Sylvester Stallone has been one of our greatest action stars of all time, but like anyone, his life has been full of ups and downs. While he still works in the industry today, he's now a living legend and often discusses his career as well as his relationship with other action stars. Join Facts First to learn more about how he shared a difficult Bruce Willis update and a lot more about Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone was born July 6, 1946 in Manhattan. His father, Frank Stallone, was a hairdresser and beautician and had a brief career as an actor. His mother worked a variety of jobs, including promoting women's wrestling. This unusual background is perhaps what inspired young Sylvester to reach for the stars when it came to pursuing his own dreams. He decided to study drama at the University of Miami, and it was during this time he wrote the screenplay about a young man from Philadelphia who had ambitions to become a successful boxing champion. That was, of course, Rocky, and it was eventually the film that made him into a film star. He dropped out of school to get his start in acting. His first foray was actually in an adult film, but we won't get into that one. One of his first recognizable roles was a small appearance in Woody Allen's film Bananas. But much of his early years was one struggle after the next, getting small roles here and there in feature films and the occasional TV role. It wasn't until a producer wanted to make a film out of Rocky that he got his big break. However, he had to fight to play the role himself. After all, he was an unknown, and there was no reason for any big-name producer to take the gamble on him. But he stated he wouldn't sell the script unless it was agreed that he would take the role. Eventually, he got his way. Rocky became a huge hit, and Sylvester Stallone was now a star. While every career has a flop here and there, Sylvester Stallone's career has been defined by some of the biggest blockbusters that Hollywood has ever seen. His greatest film successes include the Rocky series, the Rambo series, Paradise Alley, Cliffhanger, Demolition Man, and many more. Rocky was relatable to audiences since he was a working-class boy who wanted to achieve big dreams. With Rambo, he was a veteran who suffered from PTSD, something that was and still is sadly relatable among many of our veterans. In Copland, he played a softer and quieter character and showed his range as an actor. The softness and sweetness he displayed was not seen in other action stars. It's perhaps the key to Sly Stallone's success. He managed to kick butt and also managed to touch our hearts with his dramatic performances. While Sylvester is known primarily as an actor, he's also won acclaim for his work behind the camera. His screenplay for Rocky was highly regarded, and years after he became a star, he realized he regretted dropping out of University of Miami. He submitted his screenplay to be preserved in the university's library, and because of this, he was able to receive his degree. As he gained more fame, he also decided to branch out into directing. The first film he wrote and directed was Rocky II. He also co-wrote the film Fist, which he starred in. The only film he directed but didn't act in was Staying Alive, the sequel to Saturday Night Fever. He wrote and directed the remaining Rocky films, including Rocky Balboa, and served as a producer for Creed. Later, he co-wrote the sequel Creed II. He also co-wrote Cliffhanger, which became one of his most famous films. He also served as producer for many of his films. Most recently, he was an executive producer for the 2022 film Samaritan and MVP. He's also the producer for the upcoming Creed III. He's still busy working today with his latest role as Dwight the General Manfredi in the TV series Tulsa King. We're excited to have Tiege Hanley as the sponsor of today's video. You may be surprised at how much a good skincare routine can change your life and help you maintain healthy, youthful skin. Seriously, I still don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. Tiege Hanley makes taking care of your skin uncomplicated. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. I recommend you start with their Level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20, and a PM moisturizer. And to make it dead simple for guys like us, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. It definitely comes in handy. Skincare wasn't always something I took seriously, but now that I have, I wish I would have started sooner. But you don't have to just take my word for it, because they have over 5,000 5-star reviews from customers around the globe. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tiege Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, access to exclusive monthly deals, the freedom to pause or cancel at any time, and free U.S. shipping. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click the first link in the description and you'll get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Click that link and get started today. Don't forget to check out Tiege Hanley by clicking the link in the description of the video. The life and times of Sylvester Stallone. As Stallone's career progressed through the 70s and 80s, he became one of Hollywood's most loved action stars. While his career has also included drama films like Copland and even comedies such as Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, it was the films where he showed off his muscles, fighting skills, and incredible gunplay that made him an action star. Of course, he couldn't have joined the film industry at a better time. As he was gaining fame, so were many of his contemporaries also becoming known as action stars. One of his contemporaries was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and while the two are friends now, they've had their ups and downs throughout their lives and careers. In mid-November 2022, Stallone told Variety magazine that he and Schwarzenegger actually hated each other for quite some time. They competed with each other on who would be the biggest action star, and one imagines film producers kept an eye on both of them. Sylvester made it clear the two men actually loathed each other, and it was so bad they hated even being in the same room. In fact, there were times where they competed for the same role. Apparently, Schwarzenegger convinced Stallone to appear in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, which was a film Stallone eventually regretted appearing in. The film co-starred Danny DeVito, and one wonders if Schwarzenegger was getting revenge for his own film Twins, where he also co-starred with DeVito. But the two are now much older and have both paved the way for a new generation of action stars. As a result, they've become friends and don't see the need to compete with each other. When Schwarzenegger was cast in The Expendables, he fought for Stallone to also appear in the film. They appeared in the first 3 films together. Stallone is returning for the 4th film, which is due in 2023. Schwarzenegger won't be returning for this one. Nevertheless, the two are good friends and regularly discuss their affection for each other. Stallone has a reputation for being rather affable and caring towards many of his friends. But one of his closest friends, who's also a great actor and major action star at one point, is sadly going through a very hard time. Sylvester Stallone shares a difficult Bruce Willis update. Recently, Stallone has shared a difficult Bruce Willis update. Bruce has largely stepped out of the limelight and has retired from acting. He has aphasia, which is an illness that makes it hard to both speak and listen. He had trouble acting on his final films due to this illness, and he had to retire in early 2022. As of now, there are 8 films of his in line to be released before the end of 2022 and in 2023. When Bruce publicly discussed his illness with his fans, Stallone shared a photo with the two of them on Instagram. He expressed his sadness over Bruce's illness and how he lamented the fact that Bruce had to retire earlier than expected. "We wish Bruce Willis well. And we also wish the best to Sylvester Stallone. He's given us a great body of work, and we hope to continue seeing him acting in great films and TV shows for years to come. He's not only a great actor, but a great friend, and someone from whom we can learn a lot." Now it's time to hear from you. Are you a fan of Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Willis? What do you think about Bruce Willis's tragic diagnosis? What's your favorite Sylvester Stallone film? Let us know in the comments section below.